And yeah, here we are. Finally, Jesus, after 4 months of promising you guys that I was going to bring a podcast to you, and it's finally happening. I've been waiting for such a long time, but when life gets in the way, sometimes they make you pay for things that you don't really want to pay for. But and eventually, life again it does its thing, where it's just like, hey, I'm gonna give you something. I'm going to give it to you now.
Like lemons.
Like lemons. This podcast is my lemons. Finally. I finally got the equipment needed to make it happen. And this is the very first episode of Arratikast.
Yeah. Woo, yeah.
I'm the only one clapping. I don't think anybody would be very excited. But you know what? Here we are. This is fun. And yeah, Arratikast. It's basically a mixture of both of our names.
Yes.
Airik and Ryan. Because if you say it really fast, it kind of sounds erratic.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say that would be pretty accurate to the naming scheme of our podcast, but yeah.
Yeah, and erratic means like also inconsistent.
Which is exactly what we're going to be, inconsistent.
Yeah, we're going to be inconsistent a lot because that's what most podcasts are. Because they're just laid back, chill. There's really nothing to them. And it's
Except just people talking into a microphone, hoping people actually want to hear their opinions on things.
Yeah. Or just feel like a hangout. You're just two dudes hanging out. We're talking. And then hopefully there will be someone out there that will be like, hey, I connect with these guys.
Yeah, let me put these guys on as my background noise while I eat ramen alone in my room.
Or if I'm driving somewhere to I don't know, what would they be driving to? Like to their job?
Hey, quick shout out to people who drive on the 60 freeway. Am I right? You know what I'm talking about.
What's the 60 freeway?
I don't know. It's some freeway out here in California that sucks ass. But if you're from California, you would know that. You would know that there is no good time on the 60 freeway.
That's more like the 90 freeway. That's like...
well, actually,
91.
91.
The 91 is fucked up bad.
You mean the 91 parking lot? Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
The 91 freeway, for any of those don't know, it's one of the main freeways connecting from all the major cities of California to like the beaches, and it's fucking terrible day in and day out.
But
it's
hey,
awful.
Listen, we're not here to talk about freeways.
Yeah, we're not here to talk about freeways. That's fucking stupid.
Yeah, although we did take the 60 to go see what movie?
Went to go see Ready Player One.
Well, that too. I was thinking about Isle of Dogs, but yeah, you're right. This is one of the things that we're going to talk about. So let's start with Ready Player One, since Player One should go first. Yeah, sounds about right.
You're my older brother. You've always been Player One.
That's right. I have
unfortunately.
Been. That's right.
So there's going to be a lot of perspectives when we're going to be talking about Ready Player One, actually, because we're going to have one perspective where someone read the book, because this is based off of a book.
A Burke? It is based off of a Burke.
Yeah, it's something new that the Jews invented.
Boy, all right, to the anti-Semitic jokes right away. I like it. All right. So
no,
where do you want to start?
It's the new Burke, written, but not new, but
it came out like 7 years ago. But yeah,
well, it's kind of new. I mean, that's still pretty fresh if it's less than a decade old.
Yeah, okay, yeah. As far as books go,
and
you're right.
For it to be made into a movie, it's still pretty new.
You're right.
Yeah, but this book was written by this dude named Ernest Cline.
Yes, that's right, Ernest Cline.
Yeah.
I would say it's probably one of the most pop culture-iest books that, in my opinion, has ever been written. I could be wrong about that. There could be something else out there that is more pop culture-y than this. However, it is like walking through a candy store and eating every single piece of candy in there. It's like a sweetness overload that is pop culture. From the 80s, 90s, and
70s and 60s probably.
No, 70s and 60s. It's more like 80s and up. They don't really delve too much into like the 70s anything really.
And like modern times. Well, like modern for like our times too.
Right. Because I mean, the book was written, like I said, about 6 or 7 years ago. I could be wrong about that. That's about what I think it was written in. But yeah, so they're kind of working with the things that they had at that point. Or Ernest Cline was, should I say. But anyways, let's get into it.
Yeah, it makes sense. So, we have one's perspective where one read the book, and you have another perspective, which is me, who did not read the book, but I did watch the movie. Yes. And what were your initial thoughts on Ready Player One?
So, initially, when I first saw the preview for it, I had just finished... reading the book is a bit of a stretch. I listened to the audiobook, which I believe is the superior way to...
You can't read?
No, I'm illiterate. So I have somebody read to me, and that person who read it to me in the audiobook was Mr. Joss Whedon himself, which, say what you will about the man, he does know how to read a book.
But you can't write a script.
No, he cannot. And that's okay. I wasn't there for him to write a script for me. I was there for him to read me a book. And he did a pretty good job. And the
Fair
book
point.
itself was pretty good. It touched on a lot of different aspects to humanity. I don't know if you're too familiar with the world that they built in the Ready Player One. Not so much the Oasis that everyone memes about, but the actual world, the real life world that everyone's living in. It's a very shitty place, and they touch on that a lot more in the book than they do in the movie, which I feel like could have benefited if they did. It was sort of like a darker, shittier underlayer, a dark, shitty caramel center underneath this Oasis bright and shining M&M coating. Except when you bite into it, instead of chocolate, it's filled with mayonnaise or something. Old mayonnaise.
So what you're saying is it doesn't work.
Well, no, I'm saying... What?
Yeah, it doesn't work. You bite into a chocolatey thing that you expect it to be chocolate, but mayonnaise comes out.
Well, I'm saying that the world itself had a nice, shiny outer exterior from people playing the Oasis, made it look all cool, but in reality, it was just a shitty place. Nobody wanted to live there, and that's why they all escaped to the Oasis.
Yeah.
They abandoned reality for this fake reality in the Oasis, and they touched on that a lot more in the book that they did in the movie, which I understand. You have a lot more space, a lot more, opportunity in a book to explain a world where you can kind of delve into those deeper meanings. But that's just me. What about you? What did you think watching the movie, having not read the book, just going into the movie fresh?
At this point, I've seen it twice now.
Yes.
And both times they're pretty fucking bad.
Okay.
This is a bad movie.
All right. Okay. Fair. You're right. The story itself was pretty bad. Looking back at the book itself, the book had a pretty basic story.
There's a lot of people on the internet saying like, dude, this book is fucking bad.
Okay. So
what are your thoughts on that? I haven't read the book, so I can't say shit. But
right. But look, the story itself wasn't anything to be marveled at. It wasn't the greatest story in the world, but the way they presented it made it fun. And that was okay for me.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
Yeah, I'm not looking for some great thought piece where I'm going to go home thinking about, my existence as a human being. I want to just have a good old time, and that's what I did in the book. And honestly, I had a pretty good time in the movie as well. I saw it twice as well, and I liked it better the second time around because I didn't go into it thinking, oh, I'm going to see a movie about the book. I just thought, of course, the second time, I'm going to go see this again, but just see it as a movie. And that was, I enjoyed it more as that.
Yeah.
Than comparing it to the book because it had nothing to do with the book. Well, I wouldn't say nothing, but it definitely skimmed a lot of stuff.
Well, definitely the people who like read books such as, like the Harry Potter fans.
Yeah.
The number one complaint that they have, I'm just using like an example. Like
Sure.
the number one complaint that they would have is like, it's nothing like the book. And it's like, it's impossible to translate, like a 500-page book into a 2.5 hour screenplay.
Sure.
It is technically impossible.
Yeah.
There is stuff that you have to cut out. Even the authors recognize that.
Yeah.
So that was a given when you're going to adapt a book into a movie. And there are those rare occasions where like the book would be better than the movie or the movie would be better than the book. And
Sure.
That's just how it is when you're dealing in the world of entertainment. And for me, I judging it as a movie. Again, I didn't read the book, so I can't really say shit on Ernest Cline's literate masterpiece.
Right.
But as a movie that Steven Spielberg directed, it was probably one of the worst blockbusters I've ever seen.
Okay. That's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair.
It's probably up there with like Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides. Like that level of bad.
That is pretty bad.
Yeah.
But let me run this by you. All right.
All right.
So you look at an 80s movie. What
Yeah.
do you think?
Now I think of cheesy fun, but there are some good characters in there.
Now, are you looking at that through nostalgia goggles, or are you looking at that objectively as, hey, this is a good character?
I'm looking at it objectively like, hey, there's a good character. Some of my favorite movies do consist of, good characters. Like what Steven Spielberg directed. Like a good example is Jaws. There's some actual good characters in there.
Sure.
And that was the movie to invent blockbusters. That basically put like people in the mindset is like, wow, I have to go to the movies this summer and witness a blockbuster.
Okay.
Thanks to Spielberg himself, because I have nothing but respect for the man.
Of course.
The guy really changed the course of cinema as we know it. He's provided so many classics, some of which are cheesy, but they were good in their own right. Mm-hmm. And I'll dive into the filmmaking later, because that's a reason why Spielberg became the actual Spielberg, was because of that. Jaws, like I was saying, there's actual characters in there. One of them being a police chief that wants to keep everybody in check and in line, but he's getting so much shit at him because, oh hey, a girl just got eaten at a beach. And I'm just going to keep everybody calm, not tell anybody about it, and then eventually a little boy gets eaten. So there's that conflict in him. He's like, oh, shit, what if that was like me? What if that was like, I was the parent who had the child eaten, so I have to go out there and actually hunt down the shark, because when the first time they brought the shark up and they opened it up and Richard Dreyfuss comes in, he's like, hey, we want to be sure this is the shark, because, I want to be sure, you want to be sure, we all want to be sure.
Yeah,
that
whole line.
Just
like, no, we got it. We got a shark. That's all that.
That we got a shark, and the most important thing is the 4th of July, because it takes place in during summertime.
It's a big revenue thing for
the beach.
What was the island's name?
Coney Island.
That's New York. Anyway,
it's in Maine.
Yeah,
that's all I know.
No. I mean, like, Coney Island is a New Yorkin thing.
No. I'm saying like the movie's based in Maine.
Oh,
like it's based on like a pier or some shit. But there's like there's a beach there.
Right.
But there's like characters and stuff in Jaws. There's like that moment where they're placed into something that progresses them, that makes them decide, oh, what should I do? What am I going? What is this character? As a viewer, you're going to be like, what is this character going to experience? And that's going to progress them, going to progress a story, and in a way make me care about them.
Okay.
All right. And I didn't feel that in Ready Player One. There wasn't that conflict.
There wasn't
that internal conflict within these characters that makes you as a viewer care about them.
Yeah, honestly, the acting. Okay, so for one, the acting was pretty bad. I mean, that's pretty much across the board, except for who played James Halliday, the old guy.
Mark Rylance.
Okay, I don't think people give Mark.
I will
Rylance
agree with
enough.
you that. Yeah.
Okay, so as far as James Halliday was in the book, I mean, obviously they don't delve into like they don't have him read his sections of his book or of the book, but the way they portray him in the book sounds exactly like he was portrayed in the movie. Yeah. Awkward, kind of mousy, kind of.
He's silent. He's very to himself.
Yes, very, very to himself. Very silent. Very, I won't really speak unless I have something to say.
Yeah, and I'm really trapped in my own little world, and my childhood and stuff, and
Yeah, I mean, you can go so far as to say maybe he was autistic. That's kind of showing some.
Would you?
Showing some symptoms, well, not symptoms, but showing some, I don't know, for lack of a better term, symptoms of it. Very to himself, didn't really look people in the eye. In the movie, if you saw him interact with everybody, he never really looked at somebody in the eye. He was always kind of looking away, always kind of fidgeting with something in his hands or doing something.
Yeah.
So.
But what made his character charming, and that's probably one thing I'll praise about the movie, is like Mark Rylance's performance. The other thing is, like, if you were to talk about something that's like nostalgic towards anything that he grew up with, he he does get excited about it. You can kind of tell that about his character. And whenever some things were changing, he wasn't exactly fond of that.
Yeah, because I mean, like in the movie, in the book, they do get it right that everyone's sort of stuck in the 80s.
Yeah.
Like culturally, in the real world and in the game, everyone's sort of stuck in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
Like that was like the culture renaissance. I mean, it still kind of is. Let's be honest. I mean, like,
they're bringing the 80s back.
Dude, like 80s is the fucking shit. I mean, it's cool, but we have our own culture nowadays, and it's kind of progressing and whatever. But
yeah,
in the book, they were stuck in the 80s. Everyone was like, this is the culture that we need to praise. This is the one that we need to stick with. And the 80s and 70s, and like late 70s, gave us, as moviegoers and fans of all things nerdy and everything, worlds to escape to. Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Back to the Future, video games. We're talking, Asteroid, get out in fucking space, Adventure, that old ass Atari game or whatever, where you just travel through a fucking maze.
But But look at it this way. All right, you think of all those worlds that you just mentioned: Star Wars, Back to the Future, Indiana Jones. Yeah, sure, people will look at it as nostalgic value because there are some groundbreaking things in there. Star Wars had groundbreaking special effects. Indiana Jones had some groundbreaking action. Like, it came out at the very right time for action movies. It's very practical, very stunt driven.
Yeah.
And it didn't cut the bullshit. The way that it was shot made it seem like you were in that very moment where Indiana Jones was in peril.
Yeah.
And Spielberg was genius enough to actually, make you feel that for Harrison Ford.
Mm-hmm.
And then what else did you bring up?
Back to the Future, Star Wars.
Yeah, Back to the Future.
Yeah.
It's a fun little story about.
It's a fun romp.
Yeah, and it's just so original. Where this kid goes back in time and then talks to his dad and his younger self.
Yeah.
And how just changing one little event in the past can affect the future. It makes you think about time and time travel, and the way Doc Brown introduces that. It makes it cool. It makes it fun.
He made it very ingestible.
Yeah.
Like before it was very like a sci-fi thing.
It's very complicated.
Yeah, very complicated, very sci-fi. But the way he made it, I guess Doc Brown and whatever.
Yeah.
He made it sound like it was accessible to everybody. Like, oh, I understand that.
Yeah.
Like the way he kind of like broke down all those complex paradox theories and everything.
Yeah.
With time traveling, which is all of course theory because we haven't fucking time traveled yet, or have we? The Berenstain Bears, look that up.
Yeah. The Berenstain Bears.
The Berenstain Bears conspiracy theory. They're the Berenstein Bears now. He made that complicated idea a little more ingestible for all of us, and that's what made it kind of like interesting.
Yeah, exactly. And as a kid, you're looking at like the way it looks and the special effects and stuff like that, because as a kid, that's all you really expect. It's like, that's what I want. But then you revisit some of these old franchises that you just mentioned right now, and then you kind of break it down through a critical eye, and you see that there's a lot more going on than just special effects.
Right.
And that's what makes these stories really good. That's what makes them classics to begin with.
So let me ask you this: if you were to put all those classics into a movie, would that make that movie that they're all in a classic?
No. Absolutely not.
I'm glad that you said that, because.
And you want to know why?
All right, why?
What if you completely take all those properties that were there? And that's the reason why I like Star Wars and stuff, because they had stories of their own. Back to the Future, Indiana Jones, Jaws. There's a couple of, like, Iron Giant.
Yeah,
that was in there. A couple of other.
There's
like, so much shit.
Just like movies, video games, your whole run of the gambit.
Yeah. They had stories of their own, and that's why I love them. Imagine if you took out every single property from Ready Player One. Like, imagine if these characters were just regular avatars, run by, of course, regular people and stuff. What would it have?
It'd be a boring story.
Yes, exactly.
But what I'm saying, though, is that it does have all those things in there.
Yeah.
And people say that nostalgia is the most powerful drug that we have these days. It reminds us, our generation, the millennial, unfortunately, you and I are millennials.
Yes, sadly.
However, it reminds us millennials of a better time where shit didn't suck. And we kind of look at that through rose-colored glasses. Everything is great. Everything is amazing. Do you remember all those things? Remember the Game Boy? Remember berries?
Remember Pokemon and
other things? Yu-Gi-Oh! Do you remember Yu-Gi-Oh? I remember Yu-Gi-Oh! Do you remember going to see episode 1?
Oh, that was the shit, because I was fucking 5 years old,
right,
and
exactly.
That came on my birthday week.
Yeah, I know. I remember. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
I was 5 years old.
And wasn't that movie the shit?
That was the greatest experience as a child I've probably ever had.
Exactly. But see, we remember all of that because it's nostalgia. Our brains only remember good parts of the past. I mean, obviously, if it's something horribly bad, our brain's going to remember that. But for the most part, if it's mundane, if it's simple, if it's whatever, we're going to throw out the bad, not interesting stuff, and we're going to think of the good stuff.
Yeah,
absolutely. we don't think about Jar Jar Binks too much. We don't think about what's that kid's name who played Anakin in the originals?
In the original trilogy?
I'm sorry, not the original trilogy. No, my bad.
I was about to say
prequels.
Sebastian Shaw from episode 6. He was in there for like
Jesus Christ,
2 seconds.
Yeah, that's right. No. I'm talking about whatever his kid's name is.
Oh, Jake Lloyd.
Jake Lloyd. Arrested Jake Lloyd. Oh, boy, you got arrested.
My most favorite actor ever.
My boy. But yeah, no one remembers how bad his acting was. No one remembers Jar Jar Binks and how bad his character was, and just in general.
Yeah.
You know, and how bad the storyline was, how boring the whole fucking thing was, because we look at it through nostalgia. Everything's great. Everything's amazing.
Because you are an adult. And imagine if you were to look at Ready Player One through the eyes of an adult, and you take out all this shit that's in there. What'd you have?
All right, let me throw this one at you. I'm trying to think of like a movie that you enjoy. What movie do you enjoy? What movie do you enjoy?
I enjoy none of them because they all suck.
I know you. Well, no, I'm not talking about movies from Ready Player One. I'm talking about movies in general. What movie in general do you enjoy? Not Blade Runner, because that has a great story, great everything to it. I'm not gonna attack that. That's fine.
Yeah,
but
because I will destroy you.
I know.
I'll rip you apart.
Okay.
Rip apart my own brother.
All right. So think of Bloodsport.
Oh, yes.
You take out the fighting.
Well, I know it's shitty. That's the thing. It's so bad. It's so fucking bad, but it's so good.
But it's a guilty pleasure, right?
Oh, my God. Yes, it is.
So who's to say that Ready Player One isn't a guilty pleasure? Honestly,
yeah.
I had more fun at the movies. More fun, mind you. Fun. Because isn't that what we go to movies for?
Yeah, of course.
It's for fun.
It's an escape.
Right, it's an escape. I had more fun watching Ready Player One
than Bloodsport.
Then I'm trying to think of the last movie that I went to go see before Ready Player One. That was like a big.
Here's the thing.
That was
though.
like a big timey thing.
When someone comes up to me and says, "You know what? Why in the fuck do you like Bloodsport?" And then I'll be like, "It's so shitty. It's bad." But if someone was like, "Here's the reasons why it's bad," I'm like, "I know, and that's why I hate it. That's why I love it." And then I would expect someone to do the same. Like, why'd you like Ready Player One? It's so bad. Take out all the shit, and then people will be like, well, yeah, I know that.
Yeah, it's a cheesy story, but you know what? Some of those scenes are fucking cool. You and I went to go see that, and I remember certain scenes. We were both just like, oh, that was cool.
Yeah.
That was cool. Like, it wasn't anything amazing, wasn't anything like astounding. It was just, oh, that was pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
Like that whole charge scene at the end on Planet Doom. That was fucking cool. You get to see Battletoads fighting next to like Harley Quinn and Spawn and Spartans.
And the new Ninja Turtles from Michael Bay.
God, why do they have to include that?
It's the new Ninja Turtles.
They literally could have had any of the Ninja Turtles incarnations. There's been like 1,000 of them since like the old 80s ones.
Oh, fuck.
But Jesus Christ. Anyways, that scene was awesome. I was like actively looking for references. I'm like, all right, where are the characters?
Yeah.
And of course, Tracer from Overwatch is in there. I feel like that's the only character that they could actually afford.
Now, of all the references and stuff,
right.
I guarantee you that Spielberg himself doesn't even know. Like,
oh no, I'm sure.
There's just so much shit in there.
Right, but
hold on, real quick. But back to the criticism of someone telling me like, hey, why do you like Bloodsport? I would much rather have someone saying like, to me, if I was like, hey, like Ready Player One sucks and here's why. I would expect someone to be like, I'm more acceptance of the answer for someone being like, well, yeah, I know that, and I know it's shitty, but that's why I love it.
Look,
if someone were to say, no, you're wrong because this is why Ready Player One is great, and I'll be like, no, it's more better if someone is self-aware that a movie is bad for them to like it than for them to defend something that's so bad that they're just blind by like what's ever in front of them.
See, but like I don't look at it as it's a fantastic movie. I don't look at it as a great movie. It was an okay movie, but what pushed it over the edge for me was all the special effects were cool. The special effects were great.
I heard a lot of people like complain about the special effects, and that's something that I actually disagree on.
Right,
and I agree with you because it's like it's a virtual world.
Yeah, it's not going to be like polished like a real world movie special effects budget's going to be. It's going to look kind of video gamey.
Yeah, exactly. And I got that.
Like you look at some of the I'm trying to think some of the best cutscenes in video games. You look at Final Fantasy cutscenes. Well, pretty much anything from Square Enix, right? They look pretty. Yeah. Well, I mean that was cool.
Bad.
Yeah. For back in the day though, that was great. I'm talking about nowadays. Like cutscenes. Cutscenes nowadays, they look good. Don't get me wrong in video games, but they still look a little gamey. They look like video games, and that's fine because you're playing a video game, just like they are inside of a video game.
But think of video games. All right, you have the cutscenes, right?
Sure.
And then people make fun of like the way that it's voice acted or like the story and stuff. But the reason why you play a game is because it's fun.
Right. It's right, and I had fun
Watching Ready Player One.
Ready Player One.
All right, that's a fair point.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. But you know, what I'm trying to say is like Ready Player One, like it's terrible. It's got bad characters. It's got bad writing. IOI, the company, has to be one of the most dumbest companies in the fucking history of movies.
They're pretty goddamn retarded, I'll be honest.
They're the worst evil corporation. They're so bad, dude.
Let me defend them a little bit in the book. God, I sound like one of those faggots online who's like, well, in the book, you know, they did this, and this differently.
And then I'll be like, we're talking about the movie.
And we are talking about the movie, and I understand that. But I'm saying, you know, like we said before, translating a book into a screenplay is impossible. I get that. They have to cut some corners. They got to, like, cut out some of the parts that are a little bit boring for the screen that maybe in the book built up the company or the character or whatever a little bit more. We had to skip over that because we're putting it on screen. IOI in the book was an evil fucking corporation, and they did their job at it. It was like your standard run-of-the-mill, I'm too rich to get in trouble for any of this sort of thing. And that's kind of what...
That's what we see in the real world,
right,
anyway.
Right, exactly. So it kind of had some bearing in the real world. But, you know, in the movie, you know, like, okay, yeah, in the movie, they try to kill... Sorry, spoilers for those who are listening and haven't seen the movie yet. They do try to kill Wade, or Parzival. You know, his character. They do try to kill him. You know, so that part's pretty accurate. They try to blow up his little mobile home tower.
They kill his aunt and her boyfriend, and then he's like, okay, whatever, I'll continue to play the game and talk to Artemis.
Well, like, what bothered me in the movie was that, like, he was all like concerned. He was all concerned, like, oh, no, not my aunt, not my... Did she look like the aunt from the Terminator 2? She looked.
Oh my god!
She looked pretty similar.
The one that got killed off screen.
The one that got. Well, yeah, because remember he poked her in the face with his iron stake of a hand.
Oh yeah.
In Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Yeah. When he imitates her, she kind of looked. I'm gonna look that up. But
Terminator 2, another reference in the movie.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, boy. Okay.
That they used.
All right. Spoilers. So
it's alright. Spoilers.
Yeah, I guess
it doesn't really matter.
True. So. Yeah, I know they made it.
Everybody's seen the movie at this point, I'm sure.
Yeah, but I mean, that was come on.
Again, Terminator 2 is its own story.
You're right.
What's Ready Player One?
It's a story.
It is a story about a young boy that wants to take over an evil corporation because they do bad things.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. But
that's it.
Yeah, but the thing is though, is that they try to kill. Getting back to my point, they do try to kill him in the book, as well as in the movie. They also pretty much do the same thing to all the other high five or the other 5 people who found the keys that were on the scoreboard.
And that's one thing that you mentioned.
Yeah, because they offer everybody who found the key the same deal that they offered Parzival. Yeah. But more or less, they just didn't go. He was the only person who was like, oh, let me just hear them out and fuck with them, basically. Because that's kind of what he did in the book. He was like, I just want to go in there and just give him a big old F you. In the book, he was like... He kind of pretended to mull over the deal. Like, oh, well, that sounds like a pretty good deal. I know that your board of directors are listening to this whole conversation, so let me pose this question to them. I will accept your offer if they fire you and give me your position. Oh. And then Nolan Sorrento was like,
fuck that shit.
No. He said, and then he kind of listened to whatever they were saying in his ear, and he says, they'll do it. So it made him... It made him think. I mean, obviously he didn't take the deal. He just wanted to fuck with them. Yeah. But if he fucked with him enough to be like, I can take your job if I wanted to. He's like, they don't give a shit about you. Yeah. And that's when he said, well, you know what? I don't give a shit about you, Wade Watts. And he's like, oh fuck. Yeah, I know who you are. I hacked into the government's school systems. This is in the book, and figured out who the hell you were. And I know where you live. This is your address. So I'm gonna ask you again. Does he look like a bitch?
This huge intimidation factor. Now, this is all in the book.
Right, this is all in the book.
Then why wasn't it in the movie?
Yeah, exactly.
It was just some bullshit.
It was some bullshit. It was. And that's because that scene for me was one of those, it went from being all in-game stuff, oh, fuck, this is real now. Yeah. Oh, shit, this just turned real.
Yeah, shit just got real.
Yeah, so you said, do you think anyone's going to give a shit about another stack, like the stacks of the mobile homes blowing up in some shithole part of Ohio? Yeah. No one's gonna care. Yeah. And after they blow it up, he looks on the news and says, "Oh, it was a drug lab explosion."
Yeah.
So they immediately play it off like, just a couple druggies blowing themselves up. And he was just like, look what we can get away with.
Yeah.
You're powerless compared to us. Yeah, you're powerful in the game, but guess what? We have power in the real world where you live, motherfucker.
Yeah. And I like, there was a scene in the movie where they were having a meeting, and then it introduced the Love knockoff from Blade Runner 2049.
Love. Oh, that's right.
The girl with the little shape
with the bad bangs.
Yeah, the bad bangs and the thing. Actually, I loved Love's bangs in Blade Runner. But
Why'd she have the same fucking hairstyle though? Is my question.
It's the same fucking thing, right?
Yeah.
And they're having that meeting, and then the one guy's like, this guy named Parzival got the key. And then Sorrento's like, so what? Yeah, who cares? It's just one key. And, and then even though in the world they established that like it took them 5 years to do it, just ever since Halliday died.
Yeah.
So you don't think that they would take this matter seriously? It's like, this guy is a third closer to us, and just some kid.
And they did in the book.
Yeah. That's just, they did that same thing in the book?
Well, no. They didn't do the same thing in the movie that they did in the book. I'm saying, though, is that they took it a lot more seriously in the book. They're like, what the fuck, Nolan?
Yeah.
Like, we're giving you, like, millions of dollars to train these Sixers, which is all, like, the people working for Iowa, all the other players working for Iowa. You have your own division. You have this, you have this, you have this. We're paying money to buy you in-game fucking stuff to accomplish your goal, and you're not providing.
Nolan Sorrento in the movie just says, fuck it. Who cares?
Yeah.
We got money. And it's like, that is such a stereotypical villain thing to say.
Exactly. Screw the rules. I have money. Hit like if you understand that reference. Moving on.
Good God. That's bad writing for a villain.
It's a very, again, it's not a very it's not a very well written movie.
All the greatest villains in movies, or just a good villain in general, is like, yeah, I guess you would have like some comedic element to them because it's like, they are human too.
Sure.
They have a sense of humor as well. But they would do some things where you're just like, oh, they're not fucking around.
Yeah, and I feel
what did he do? Kill his aunt that Wade doesn't give a shit about? Or,
but
or you as the audience don't give a shit about?
Right, well, yeah, but I mean, like, he thinks that he killed Parzival. That's the thing, is that, like, in the movie, as in the book, he had his little hideaway where he'd go and play the oasis away from his abusive aunt and her boyfriends and shit.
Yeah.
And actually in the book, there was like families living in that thing as well. Like other families living in their mobile home. It was like a whole fucking Mexican thing.
Yeah, the Mexicans in Ohio.
I know, weird, right?
That's weird as shit.
We're Mexicans, we're allowed to say that. However...
there's fucking brown people in Ohio?
It's strange, I know.
What?
More strange than a virtual reality world.
Well, I mean, it's like, it's 2050, so it's like...
Yeah.
So, I mean, things could change from, 30 years from now.
Yeah, and just migrate up north. But what I'm getting at is that he thought Parzival, or Wade, was inside of the house when he blew it up. He didn't know he was in a little hidey hole. So he thought he was killing it. It wasn't so much like, oh, we're going to kill your aunt. It was, we're going to kill you.
Yeah.
We're going to kill you personally, Parzival, Wade.
Does he say that he was going to kill you, or his aunt?
No. He says we know where you live.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, because I'm talking about
they were going to kill him.
From Nolan Sorrento's perspective, he thought he was killing Wade.
Yeah.
And he was just collateral damage. Yeah, your aunt's there, collateral damage. Whatever, who cares?
Yeah.
And in the book, they do end up killing one of the other main characters. One of the other Japanese kids. Shoto or Daito. Okay, yeah, those are the two names. I can't remember which one they killed off, but they did kill off one of them. And they fucking threw him off a roof, and he ended up looking up who he was in the news, and guess what? They made it look like it was a suicide. So they got away with that too. So again, in the book, it made it feel like there was real world consequences, all the shit that was going on in the game. Which added a level of, oh shit, like, okay, this isn't just us fucking around on, MapleStory right now. There's like some serious fucking consequences going on.
And you talking about Daito being thrown off of a building.
One of those two, I can't remember which one.
No, one of them. They throw a character off the building.
Yes.
You know, you may not know the character as much, but it'll kind of go like, okay, within that main central group of characters,
right,
there's something real going on.
Right, because he was there for a while. He was there in the high five for a while. It was Artemis, it was Parzival, it was H, and it was the 2 Japanese kids. The high five.
Yeah.
You know, and they were pretty much working together to try to figure out how to get to the next levels of keys.
Yeah.
You know. Oh, and by the way, they fucked up H's character big time. Not just her character, her real life character, but her in-game character as well. I feel like we need to touch on that.
Oh, they fucked up?
Because in the movie,
I thought she was all right.
Okay, well, in the movie, she was like the comedic sidekick, which in the book, she, we'll get to that, was a comedic sidekick more or less. It was kind of like, you know, Wade's little like, oh, you know, I'm your buddy, but I'm still gonna be like your rival. You know what I mean? It was like a fun rivalry.
It's like an Ash and Gary.
Sort of. Except H wasn't an asshole and they were actually friends. Yeah, Ash. I got the fucking boulder stone. What do you got? Oh, I got attacked by a Pidgey. Or sparrows.
I got the Mewtwo, Ash. What do you have?
No.
I just caught a Magikarp.
Gary got fucking wrecked by Mewtwo in the Pokemon movie, remember? In the beginning when Giovanni opens up his fucking gate and he's like, hey, why don't you send all your fucking Pokemon after my weird-ass thing that I just opened up the gate for?
That was in the beginning of the movie.
And he was like,
right.
he was like, fuck you, Gary. You ain't getting Earth Badge for shit.
Oh.
So anyways, getting back to the movie. Ready Player One. H's character in-game, her avatar was a white male. Now, trigger warning to people out there, there is a white male in this movie. However...
What? A white male?
A white male.
Oh my god.
How dare they?
How did I not notice in those 2 times I've seen the movie?
Someone called the Tumblr police. We're really cooking with gas now.
I'm so offended. I'm so triggered.
Now, in the book, she goes into why she chose a white male avatar as her avatar in the game. She said that in the real world, she couldn't change the color of her skin. She couldn't change who she was in the real life, obviously. However, she could change who she was in the Oasis and made her a him. I made him a white male. And she goes into saying, well, it was because I saw in the real world that people respected white males a little bit more. I wanted to be respected. I wanted to be appreciated. I wanted to have the better opportunities. And she learned that from her mom, who also was a player of the Oasis, and she told her basically, hey, this is how you get ahead in life.
Is you pretend to be a white male.
Pretend to be a white male. even though you're a black lesbian female.
That's a great message.
Exactly. But, you know, they touch on that, and it's like, and again, that was a big reveal in the book. That was a big fucking reveal. This whole time you think his buddy H, he was talking with him about girls and games and this and that. He's just another fucking white dude.
You should. Hey, that Artemis chick, you should fuck her.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and they were kind of.
That's such a guy thing to say.
And they were kind of going back and forth on that in the book. They're like, oh, okay, so like there really wasn't
sexist thing.
There really wasn't any any doubt in anyone's mind that H was another dude playing the game with, you know,
except that H probably meant it because she's a lesbian.
A lesbian, exactly. Which got kicked out of her house because she was a lesbian. So sad. But
I shouldn't laugh at that. It's so wrong.
When they met up in the book, it was just like he opened up the door to her mobile home and like, yeah, I am a girl. I'm a
black
female.
woman.
And then she goes into that spiel about why her character and all that, and he says, you know what? You are who you are. You're still my friend. You know, we connected on a virtual scale.
A white male getting along with a black lesbian woman?
I know. God.
Oh my God.
I'm surprised that Parzival, Wade, didn't start burning a cross right there with how racist white people are. Fuck them.
How dare they?
Now, obviously, I'm being facetious here because this is the internet and we're allowed to overreact to everything. But what I'm getting at is that he said, you know what? You're still my friend. We connected on a virtual scale, which I didn't know anything about you, but I enjoyed you for your company. I enjoyed you for you. You're still my friend.
And I felt like I did know you on a personal level, and therefore we are still friends because we connected.
Exactly. Physical appearance, whatever, doesn't mean anything to me.
That's kind of a cool message.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, and I like that. Like, but they fucking ruin it in like first goddamn...
Do you think it's so obvious when he's like, "Hi, how's it going, Z?"
Yeah, and I'm like,
I was like,
okay.
that's such a girl. Like a girl would do that.
Yeah,
they would modulate the voice to sound
with
like
a
a
bad
guy.
modulated voice, mind
Yeah.
you. That was pretty bad. It literally sounds like someone went into like Apple GarageBand, fucked with the audio a little bit, and then like, hey, this is my new voice now. What you guys think? Like,
Hi, Z. How are you, man? It's like,
Jesus
I know
Christ.
it's a chick. I knew it from the very beginning.
Well, not only that, they showed her in the previews like right away.
Did they?
Yeah, in the previews, and
I didn't watch the previews.
well, good for you. But they also showed on like Instagram and Snapchat and all that shit when they have like those little short ads for like upcoming whatevers.
You stay away from those because they spoil everything.
Unfortunately, I did not this time around. I wanted to, but I didn't. They had like all the little character cards, and it was like, you know, Parzival is Wade, and then Diato is whatever his game, and then Samantha is H. Or wait, no, Helen. No, Helen. Sorry,
we're gonna talk about Samantha pretty soon, but go on.
Helen is H, and it shows like her actress and then her avatar above her. I'm like, you motherfucker, you just spoiled the whole goddamn thing.
You know, I won't judge too much because, you know, as much as I love Blade Runner, their Instagram posts fucked up like their spoilers.
It makes me wonder who runs these things. Like, honestly,
right?
Like,
it makes me mad. It's like
could you imagine if this shit existed when The Sixth Sense came out?
Oh, when it made the big twist that, you know,
Bruce Willis was the guy in the hairpiece the whole time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's actually Haley Joel Osment's father the whole time.
That's right. Shout out to people who understand that reference. Always Sunny. Now,
Leave a like.
Hit that, smash that like button. Let's see if we can get it to 100 million likes. Yeah, I'm Jake Paul now.
But take one off because of the anti-Semitic joke I made like earlier on today.
Take one off, but hit that, smash that like button 1,000 million times.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah, but all right. Well, hell, let's just get into Samantha. Let's get into Artemis. Let's get into that.
Don't you just love how, like, you know, when she was just like, I know you don't love me, you just love the idea of me. That's just so like,
It was gay.
It's so bad.
It was gay. I don't mean that in a derogatory sense. I mean, that
the thing.
was gay.
Like, this whole movie has so much bad dialogue.
It was bad.
The kid. I mean, granted, that's like rule number one when you go on a date. You just don't tell the girl that you love her because that'll just scare her away. That's common sense.
And actually, that's exactly what he did. The very first quote unquote date they had.
Yeah, and then I was like, oh, Wade, come on, you're fucking up, bro.
Yeah.
And then she's just like, you don't love me, you love the idea of me. I'm like, and then she goes on about her dad, you know, getting sick from IOI, and then he died. And then I was like, what?
Yeah, that was a very rushed backstory.
Yeah, she covers her whole backstory when she's angry. And I was like, it's like when Cassian Andor is like, I've been in this fight since I was 6 years old. And you're just like...
But that was believable, though.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, you're right. It was weird, but it was believable. It made sense.
Yeah.
Artemis' thing was just...
It's okay because he's Mexican and we're supposed to like him.
Is that?
Representation.
Oh, I thought he was like other South American.
No, he is Mexican.
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
Diego Luna. He is a Mexican man.
I could have sworn he was some other South American thing, but all right.
No, or not British either. Like, his accent in Rogue One, his real accent.
That's interesting. All right. But getting into Samantha, her motivation in the movie was gay. Her backstory was gay. And I don't mean that in a derogatory, like, homophobic way. I mean, it was gay. You can call something gay and have it be bad. But...
Dude, Samantha, like, when they revealed, you know, who she looks like, and, you know, when Wade's like, hey, I want to meet up in the real world. And she's like, nah, you'd be pretty disappointed.
Yeah.
And then you meet up with her, and she's kind of cute.
She's still an attractive 8 out of 10 female with like a little birthmark that's got some fucking ketchup on her eye, and then didn't wipe it off all the way.
The birthmark effects were bad. So bad. It was so inconsistent.
That might have been the lighting. It might have been the lighting hitting the face in certain ways, made it look darker and lighter.
I'm pretty sure that wasn't lighting because Spielberg.
Okay, so that was
kind of knows what he's doing now.
Yeah, I mean they describe her in the book as an average-looking woman, but he loved her because of because he was a fucking loner basically.
Yeah. Well, Olivia Cooke is like a very
I'm not talking about.
She's like the girl next door. She's
not
very
talking about,
cute, but she's not like a straight up bombshell where you're just like, oh my,
There's no
good
way.
lord.
Yeah,
she's very cute.
I'm not talking about the actress herself. I'm talking about the character that they portrayed in the book.
Yeah, no, you needed an
Samantha.
actress for that.
Right. You could have gotten any ho-hum actress and made the love story 1,000 times better because he didn't care about what she looked like. He just loved her for her. Same thing with the reason why he was buddies with H.
Yeah.
He was buddies with H because of the character, because of the person that she was.
Yeah.
He was in love with Artemis because of the person that she was.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and I get that. But Wade was fucking up, dude. It was that first date, and he's just like,
I love you.
I think I'm falling in love with you. And then she's just like,
boy.
no, you don't say that. I was on Artemis's side.
Yeah,
it's
and I'm like, oh, boy.
Wade, you don't do that. And then, then she rushed over her backstory. Then they meet up in real life, and then she's like, "Welcome to the revolution." I was like, "What revolution?"
Yeah, it was literally just a bunch of fucking guys in a
It's just
warehouse.
guys in tattoos.
Guys in tattoos in a warehouse. They did not elaborate on that story at all, and I'm kind of glad they didn't because I didn't give a shit.
Yeah,
that wasn't in the book, and I didn't fucking care. I was just like, who are these people all of a sudden? Like, do we ever see their characters in game?
Do we ever see those characters ever after they kidnap Wade?
Right, because remember before IOI breaks in and starts fucking up their shit, they go back into the Oasis because like, oh, we figured out the clue for the second key. They strap themselves into their little haptic rigs, you know, like Artemis is in hers and Wade is in his. Mm-hmm. There's only 2 rigs. So you're telling me all of these people are just the fucking support team for Artemis?
I don't know.
Like, none of these other people play the Oasis. They don't have their own characters. You would have seen. You would.
I don't know.
That's the thing. If she was in this so-called rebellion, the rebels, she would have been rolling with the crew. She would have been in a crew with a bunch of people who were like, yeah, we're looking for the key. We're trying to stop IOI because of this reason.
Not to mention, but they only had 2 rigs that goes into the Oasis.
Yeah, exactly. Right, which is what I was getting at. It was one of those, like, it's not a rebellion. That's like, imagine if the attack on the Death Star was like, okay, Luke, you get this starship, and Wedge, you get this one. And Biggs is like, well, what about me and my mustache? Well, you gotta stay on the ground because we only have 2 ships. So... And
then you're just like...
Good luck.
So you're only giving 2 of us into the battlefield.
That's right. Ready, get ready.
Ready Player One.
Ready, yeah.
Roll credits. Yeah. That's how it ends.
Boy. But yeah, her backstory was stupid. Her motivation was stupid. Again, they elaborated on it more in the book, which I understand they have not a lot of space in the movie to do that. But I feel like they really could have done it. They could have elaborated more on it in the movie and not had it take up too much space.
Okay, fair enough. Let's talk about this one scene that can't leave my mind.
All right, what's that?
Because it was so just stupid. It also adds to the point that IOI has to be the dumbest company in a movie ever.
Okay, what's that?
It's when she gets captured and gets put into labor.
Boy,
the virtual labor.
yeah.
All right, they're like, all right, plant the bombs and stuff. And then, you know, the high five hacks into the system. And then they're like, Artemis, there should be an escape lever inside your fucking cell. And she raises her arms, looks for the lever, finds it, pulls it, and then she escapes that way. And you're like,
no problem whatsoever. Like, it's literally a fucking manual switch.
It's literally a manual switch within inside the goddamn cell.
No, I know, and that was retarded. But like
that was so bad. You can't.
No, it
you
was
can't
bad.
defend that.
No, I'm not defending that at all. I'll take a loss on that. That was terrible. In the book, they didn't have any of these fucking cells. It was just them working their office jobs for IOI. And they had these little like ear tags, these like little cattle tags basically. Mm-hmm. And you tried to leave and you got fucking zapped. You were free to go wherever you want, but guess what? You couldn't. You get zapped or you get shot or you get whatever. Like IOI owned you at that point.
Like you get zapped enough to where like it will fry your brain.
More or less, yeah.
Okay. That would have been so much better.
That's what I'm saying. Because it's like they gave you the... See, what would have been a lot better if they did this in the movie was that they gave her the illusion of freedom. The illusion of it. Hey, we're not that bad. We're just IOI. You're just working off your debt. You can go wherever you want. You can leave whenever you want, so long as you pay off that debt.
Which will be like your entire life, but
exactly.
So there you go.
Exactly, but they don't tell you that.
So how they feed these people?
Well, they give them like just rations, like just gruel, just whatever.
Did they ever show that in the movie?
No.
They just show them being locked up, and it's like you're gonna lose your labor if you don't feed them. That's just the way it works. Mm-hmm. if they shit themselves.
Yeah.
It kind of makes you wonder. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, well.
That whole... I'm not even gonna... Whatever. I'm not even gonna go anymore into like the comparing the book to the movie because it's just not. It's just not gonna happen anymore.
It's... This movie is just one huge nostalgic clusterfuck.
And that's fine.
Yeah, for some people, and I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. That's the thing with the Ready Player One.
And that's how I went into it the second time, was that it is a nostalgic clusterfuck, and I want to see Gundam Wing fighting fucking Mechagodzilla.
Yeah.
And I want to see Iron Giant punch Mechagodzilla in the fucking face.
I want to see things that appeal to the male fantasy that upsets many female viewers out there.
Dude, this is why I fucking hate video games. I wrote a blog post about this once. It appeals to the male fantasy.
Yep.
That's right.
Ready Player One. And then Steven Spielberg saw that, and he's like, I'm going to make a movie out of it.
He's like, how many books are there that appeal to Ready Player One? Yeah, we'll make a movie on that. And then Ernest Cline was like, cha-ching, bitch.
Yeah, Steven Spielberg, one of the most prominent filmmakers of our time.
People who don't even know movies know who fucking Steven Spielberg is.
Exactly. He's that big of a household name. So when he puts out a movie,
people go.
Chances are people are going to see it, unless it's the BFG.
Unless it's the Post.
Yeah, because nobody saw the Post.
Nobody did. Sorry, Tom Hanks.
Yeah, well, we like you, Tom Hanks and Meryl Streep, but we just, I don't know. It looked more. I should have seen it, but at the time I didn't have Movie Pass, so
yeah. Well,
so there's that. I think we talked about the movie.
Enough. Closing thoughts.
Yeah, it's one of the worst blockbusters I've seen in quite some time, and it's up there with Stranger Tides. It's up there with 10,000 BC. I don't know if you remember that movie.
I do remember that.
10,000 BC was
bad.
Probably one of the worst things I've ever seen. Ready Player One's definitely better than that. Oh, like
okay,
yeah, it's like a masterpiece compared to 10,000 BC. And I'm still kind of on the edge of like Stranger Tides and Ready Player One. I'm like, I don't know which is worse. I'd have to. Actually, you know what? I'm not gonna even want to see which is worse.
All right,
I'm not gonna watch these movies again. Like I would watch Ready Player One just like you said for the nostalgic purpose. I want to see like how many stuff that this movie was able to put in.
Yeah.
And I guess you can find some enjoyment out of that, but again, looking at it in a critical eye, you know, because there's going to be people out there such as me who are just cynical and just assholes all the time. They're going to look at the movie and just be like, well, yeah, the story's bad, the acting's bad, the special effects, they're okay. And IOI is one of the dumbest companies ever because they put the fucking escape levers inside the goddamn cells. So for that, it's like a 2 out of 10 for me.
2 out of 10. All right, fair enough. You're entitled to your opinion, just like people are.
Yeah.
So for me, like you said, it was a nostalgic clusterfuck, and I had a good time. I didn't go into it looking at it critically. I just wanted to go in there, have a good time watching a movie, and that's exactly what I did. I saw a lot of things that I recognized from my childhood. It made me reminisce about the good old days, and for me, that was enough. That was enough for me to be like, yeah, that was pretty well spent $8. Fair. You know? So for me, it wasn't a very well written movie. It wasn't a very well acted movie. Special effects were probably the best part. I feel like the world building could have been a lot better in the real world.
Yeah, real world shit was boring.
It was boring as shit. It derailed the movie a lot. It was just like, oh my god, okay, we're back in the real world now. Oh boy, everybody strap in.
Let's go back to the Oasis.
Yeah,
Jesus.
like can we just go back to the Oasis? And maybe that's what they were going for. Maybe it was like, hey, this world's so boring and shitty. People want to go into the Oasis.
Yeah,
maybe that's what they were going for. But maybe. if I had to give it a score, I'd give it a 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10. Okay.
Slightly above average, only because the action scenes were pretty fucking cool.
There were some pretty entertaining ones at that, but yeah, for me, the flaws outweigh the positives. And it's a shame because I wanted this movie to be good.
Now, did you say positives, as in paws that dogs have?
Oh, that was a wonderful
transition.
That was a great transition. That was a good one.
Skirt. All right, now.
Hell yeah.
We're talking about A Dog's Purpose now.
By that's starring Dennis Quaid as dog number 1. Oh wait, no, he's a human. So
right, but I think he voices the dog.
everybody's Dennis Quaid. The wife's Dennis Quaid. The number of dogs are Dennis Quaid.
Right. So the dog, it gets separated from its family while they're on vacation in San Francisco, I believe, and they have to travel through the forest because they thought that they abandoned them, the dog and the cat and the other dog, and they run into a bear and a mountain lion.
I know this movie.
Right. It's 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Oh, I was thinking Space Jam.
Oh, that's actually a good one too. which reminds me, Isle of Dogs was pretty good.
Yeah, it was all right.
It was all right.
It was the latest film from Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yeah. And you know what? I really, 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 really enjoyed that movie.
Yeah. If anyone's getting mad because I got the director's name wrong, that was intended.
Yeah, that was
because there's a lot of Andersons in the world of filmmaking, like Paul W.S. Anderson, who's married to Mila Jovovich. He did all the Resident Evil movies.
Oh, that's right. God, could you imagine directing your wife?
Yeah. Actually,
movies?
just recently, John Krasinski did with A Quiet Place.
Huh.
He directed his wife. I found this out recently. He's like, this dude's married to Emily Blunt.
Good for him.
I was like, good Lord, good for him.
Good for him, bud.
He's doing good in life.
He's doing good for himself.
Plus, I love Emily Blunt. She's awesome. she's in a couple bad movies, but
Yeah, but who isn't?
Yeah, exactly.
We had Tom Hanks, one of the greatest actors in modern history. He was in fucking Polar Express.
Oh.
So there's that. But what I'm getting at, or what we kind of derailed from.
Yeah, there's a lot of Andersons, and
Yes.
but we're referring to Wes Anderson,
Director of Isle of Dogs
and Fantastic Mr. Fox, and movies like Moonrise Kingdom, the Grand Budapest Hotel.
That's right.
Other movies I can't think of on the top of my head, but he's done a lot of movies.
Yes, and there's a very Wes Anderson-y feel for his movies.
Yeah.
You watch a Wes Anderson movie, you're watching a Wes Anderson movie, and this movie did not disappoint me in that aspect.
And that's what I love about Wes Anderson, is that like he has a style that you watch and you're like, that's Wes Anderson.
Yeah, it's
Like Quentin Tarantino. When you watch a Quentin Tarantino movie, that's Quentin Tarantino.
any other movie I would not want to watch so many people talking for so goddamn long, but Quentin Tarantino makes it work.
Yeah, he makes people talking work.
Yeah.
Just like how Wes Anderson makes his weird little story elements.
Quirky things.
Yeah. And it just makes it work, and it's so entertaining to watch.
Yeah.
And I'm glad a movie like Isle of Dogs exists, because in a world where it's just 3D animation after 3D animation, which, don't get me wrong, it's very nice to look at because the things that you can do with a computer, but there's something so special about handcrafting an animation from your goddamn hands, with all the models that they put up, all the sets. They put in a green screen in there.
Well, yeah. I mean, they have to.
Because you have to.
Yeah.
But most of it was sets, and everything was practical, and the way they did the action scenes, the way they made the characters talk, all of it just blending together, making this world, this fictional Japanese city feel real. I gotta give praise on Wes Anderson. He knocked it out of the park.
He really did. And honestly, what I love about Wes Anderson is that he does not scrimp on the details. The details that nobody would ever notice, nobody would ever even care about. But for the people who do care about that shit, he makes it to where it's visible enough, but it doesn't take the forefront. Like, for example, like one thing that I always like to point out, if you watch like the previews for Isle of Dogs, if you haven't seen the movie yet itself, watch some of the previews. Whenever they show stuff happening on the TV, it's 2D animated for no reason at all. It doesn't have to be 2D animated. It literally could have been just them showing the screen from the already animated, the puppets or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, not puppets, but you know what I mean. The figurines.
I think the reason why, honestly, I think he chose it to be a 2D animation just because, not because of just a stylistic choice, but if he were to put it in, he actually used the animation that he uses, like with all the props and all the figures and stuff. Like, you could put it inside a TV, that maybe it would confuse the audience on, like, okay, what are we looking at inside this little box?
Right.
Probably confuse them. But if you put the 2D animation in there, it kind of makes it look a little bit better.
I can see that.
Yeah, like it's stylistic, and it also distinguishes, like, oh, it's a TV screen.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I can see that. But like for me, just looking at that was just like, wow. Like, that was an extra level of effort that you really didn't have to put in there, but you did.
Because he was just like, fuck it, let's do it. And then he does it.
Yeah.
Another thing that he does This is such a. It has nothing to do with the movie at all. But when Wes Anderson was like, "Fuck it, we're just gonna do it," was the sushi scene.
My god!
When it shows the dude chopping up those fish, taking apart the crab, chopping up the squid to make sushi, was just so good.
Yeah, it's really it reminded me a lot of like those cooking videos that you see online all the time, those tasty videos or whatever the hell.
Yeah.
But it was so just beautiful to watch. Everything was so fluid. Everything was just it really didn't have to be in there at all. The story would have been unchanged had it not been in there. Yeah. But it was just, God, I was amazed. I was just like, what the hell? Like, I was like, where did this come from? But I'm happy that it kind of came out of nowhere.
Because Wes is like, you know what? He talks to his composer, Alexander Desplat. He's like, yo, we're going to do a scene where it's going to be this dude chopping up sushi. Make something. And then he's like, all right. And then he does it.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, Jesus Christ.
He sold me on something that I didn't know that I wanted until I saw it. I'm like, oh, well, all right, yeah. Yeah. This is awesome. Yeah.
And it adds to the whole Japanese aesthetic.
It really does.
And there's a little controversy that's been surrounding Isle of Dogs because, people like to get all upset and stuff, and they say that Isle of Dogs is cultural appropriation.
Cultural appropriation for dogs. Could you imagine?
Now, after seeing the movie, can you make those points valid?
I can't because I'm not Japanese or a dog.
Yeah.
So I don't know. My opinion is invalid as a human being who is not a dog or Japanese.
Yeah.
I have watched Naruto once, so I feel like I'm versed in ancient Japanese culture.
And you've watched Mobile Suit Gundam
like once or twice.
Okay, so you're good. You're Japanese.
Right? No. I'm basically a weeb.
Okay. All right, sweet.
Yeah. So people are saying that he culturally appropriated Japanese culture.
I'm dead serious. This is a thing.
Are the people saying it Japanese?
No. Most of them aren't.
Well, then what right do they have? So, all right, let's just say that their points are valid. Let's just say that all of these people who are making these complaints, that their points are 100% valid.
Yeah.
According to their own points, you don't have an opinion on something unless you are from that culture, race, color, creed, whatever.
Yeah.
If they are not Japanese, then they have no room to speak on it because they don't know what it's like to be Japanese. They don't know what it's like to be raped by a tentacle monster, okay? So
that happens to Japan all the time.
What right do they have to say that it's cultural appropriation? They don't know the culture because they're not Japanese.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, people in Japan, they got Isle of Dogs. And I'm sure they loved it. I really don't know. I didn't even check on the approval ratings, but most of the stuff that America puts out that like represents Japanese culture, even with the time when Ghost in the Shell came out, we saw the movie.
Yeah.
It wasn't that good because it looked pretty, but it just wasn't enough for us, like story wise.
Yeah.
People in Japan were like, "Oh, Scarlett Johansson looks like the Major." I'm kind of glad that our property is being brought over to the States and it's going to be known over there.
All right. So, like, I actually, because, like, The Ghost in the Shell, it was a TV show for a while, but it was also a movie before that. It was a full-fledged movie.
Yeah, in 1995.
In 1995, that's right.
And I have a steelbook of it. That's pretty fucking sweet.
Exactly. The movie itself raises a lot of interesting philosophical questions that the movie just completely fucking ignores, but that's fine.
Yeah.
The anime raised a bunch of philosophical questions, but in the movie, they recreate the Major to be a white woman.
Yeah, that's kind of like the point. The ghost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like her.
The ghost in the shell.
Right, and her shell, her physical body.
Yeah.
Her robot body.
Yeah.
Represents that of a white woman.
Yeah.
So when they got Scarlett Johansson to play the Major in the movie, I was just like, okay, so they're following the lore.
Yeah.
But people didn't see that. They just thought, oh, well,
that's a white woman.
Yeah, playing a Japanese or playing an Asian role. Like, no. Like, look up what the fucking role is. If you had any respect for this property, you would do your goddamn research. But you don't. And that's why I don't fucking care about what these people say, because it's all just a bunch of hot air. It's just a way for them to be heard in a world that dismisses a lot of actual valid points. Do you come up with the most ridiculous fucking shit, people are gonna pay attention to you.
Yeah.
You look at anything that World Star Hip Hop puts out, it's always the goddamn idiots who are fucking around with you. I'm talking about Boot Gang. I'm talking about Woah Vicky. I'm talking
Who the
about.
fuck is Woah Vicky?
I'll show it to you later. You're gonna probably shit yourself.
I kind of don't want to know who
It's
Woah
just
Vicky is.
it's just the most. Think of the most irritating, ridiculous. I can't believe you do that. Why would you do that? You're a fucking idiot person. They put it on there. People get all hyped for it, and then
they
just
yell
like,
World Star.
And they don't always yell World Star, but it's a thing where people just. The more ridiculous you act, the more attention you're going to get, both good and bad. Your fans are going to love you for it, and the people who wouldn't necessarily watch that sort of content or indulge in that sort of content will start hating on it. So you're getting love, well, not love, but you're getting attention from both sides. And in my opinion, that's fucking genius because they're playing both ends.
Yeah.
Which is what I think these people who complain about this sort of shit are doing.
Yeah.
They're playing both ends. They're preaching to the people who are in their own little echo chamber to say, "Hey, I agree with your opinion." And then you're also getting people who are like us who say, "Your opinion's fucking retarded." So they're getting attention from both ends. All that sweet click revenue.
Yeah.
All that sweet ad money rolling in from
Yeah.
people who are hating on it, people who are loving on it.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't indulge in that sort of shit, and I don't care.
That's true. And but it is a thing. That was the thing I was trying to mention, because people think like this.
Yes.
Whether they're trying to get click revenue or not, or just trying to get their 5 minutes of fame. But this is a thing that people actually believe, that Wes Anderson actually culturally appropriated Japan. Within the first minute, mind you, I was like, no, that he's going to pay respect to the Japanese culture.
The movie starts off with them at a shrine. What's more fucking Japanese than a goddamn shrine?
At a shrine, and then right after that,
It was like that taiko drum circle with all the little fat kids.
yeah. And then
Which
it says the note to viewer.
Oh, yeah.
All these characters speak their native tongue. The only time that you're gonna know what they're saying is through the interpreter, voiced by Francis McDormand. They don't actually say that, but through interpretation, through electronic device,
Yep.
or the dogs are gonna translate it.
Exactly.
Something like that.
You're right. So like, what's more culturally sensitive to somebody who's saying, you know what, I'm not going to translate what you're saying. If they don't understand what you're saying, then that's on them.
Yeah.
You know, I respect your culture as much as yada yada yada. What
Yeah.
you're saying is what you're saying. We're not going to translate it, and that's fine.
Yeah. But for someone to say that you can't do things that are outside of your culture, like you can't do it because you're not that, it's kind of fucked up.
All right, here's my counter argument to that. Who was the director for Black Panther?
Ryan Coogler.
Ryan Coogler, director of such classics as Creed.
Creed's and Fruitvale Station.
I haven't seen Fruitvale Station, but I have seen Creed, and it was fucking amazing.
Watch Fruitvale. It's actually a good movie. I think it's on Netflix.
All right.
Yeah.
Has I'm sorry, what was his name again?
Ryan Coogler.
Ryan Coogler.
Dude's cool. He's a cool guy.
Yeah, I don't know. Nothing but love for the guy. He makes amazing movies. Black Panther was an amazing movie. I really enjoyed it. It was a fun time.
Yeah, it was enjoyable.
Yeah, it was an enjoyable, fun time. Ryan Coogler. Has he ever boxed in his life?
No.
So he's appropriating boxing culture. Has he ever been to Wakanda?
He's appropriating Wakandan culture.
Wakanda doesn't fucking exist, so clearly he hasn't. How
Wait, he
does
doesn't
know?
exist?
Sorry, I hate to break it to you.
Damn it. It's like saying that like Santa Claus does.
No, he's real. He's real.
I was about to say.
But Wakanda is not. Wakanda
Okay.
is not real. It's not a real place. Has he ever been to Wakanda? I don't fucking think so. It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So how does he know? Now, mind you, I'm being facetious in this and saying this from a perspective of a social justice warrior. How does he know what it's like to be a Wakandan, whatever? He doesn't.
It doesn't matter because everybody's black and they're being represented.
Exactly. They only complain about the shit that they don't already agree with. You know what I mean? And that's how I kind of look at that sort of thing. You know, it's like your opinion is shit if you're not going to shit on your own values if it goes against what you're saying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's clearly not fucking Wakandan. You know, you don't turn his lip inside out and there's not those little like glowing letters, you know?
Which is pretty fucking cool.
That was a pretty cool scene.
That's actually really cool.
All the Wakandans have a fucking like barcode on their lip.
Their lips, yeah.
That's awesome. And that's how you know they were
that's
Wakandan? Fucking dope. It was awesome.
That's awesome.
You know? But
yeah,
all right, so let's drop the whole social justice warrior thing and talk about the movie itself.
Let's talk about the movie. I feel like this whole thing was my fault. It was because I brought it up, and so I'll 100% take the blame. And I actually further escalated it than I wanted to. But we're bringing up a point because this is a thing that people think, and I thought that was appropriate.
Right.
And we just get our opinions on it. And we both agree that Isle of Dogs is a fantastic film.
It was, from a movie making aspect of it, from just the visuals, the cinematography, the acting was sort of whatever. It's a Wes Anderson movie. It's dry. What do you want?
Yeah, and Wes Anderson's like, yeah, I know, and this is my style. It takes a true artist to take the rules of art and just bend them and just say, no, this is me. This is what I do.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be free, you know. You want to break some rules, but like don't break, just say to have a bunch of different shit going on for no reason at all. Then people are just gonna be like, well, what the fuck? Because that's the whole point of a movie. You're supposed to watch it. You're supposed to appeal to the mass audience. And Wes Anderson, the way he delivers his dialogue, the way he makes his actors do that, it is very Wes Anderson. Like you said before, it's like, oh, this is Wes Anderson. Oh, when you hear somebody talking a Quentin Tarantino film, that's a Quentin Tarantino film.
Yep.
Or when you watch like a gangster flick and you're like, is this Martin Scorsese? And then at the end,
most likely is
Martin Scorsese. And then you're like, oh, okay,
of course,
beautiful. They have a unique style to them, and Wes Anderson is those directors today that has that unique style, and he decides to put it in an animation. Hell yes! And guess what? That movie, The Isle of Dogs, was pretty goddamn good.
Here's what I think added the extra sprinkle of goodness, the extra puppy snap, if you will, to The Isle of Dogs.
I'm not a dog, and I want to try puppy snaps.
I'm trying to find a fucking puppy snap. The way they talk about that shit.
Yeah.
Now
cleans your teeth.
I hear, ooh, salty and a little beefy, and I hear it cleans your teeth. I'm like, man, that sounds pretty good.
That sounds like a pretty good dog treat.
Pretty good dog treat. Now, I can't remember the name of the playwright way back when who would write his plays to make the audience, now mind you, this is before cinema, where he would write his plays to make the audience know that they're watching a play. There wasn't any sort of suspense of disbelief that you kind of have to go into these things with, that saying like, oh, I need to believe these characters are actually on a boat when I know they're just on a fucking stage.
So it's very meta.
It's very meta. He would have his costume changes on stage. He would have the extras, doing things on stage that would make the play progress, like changing out the props and doing this, doing that.
Yeah, and it take a different sense of humor for someone to be like, what the fuck? And then
right.
they'll just laugh at it.
Well, like that.
And then it'll be an artist be like, that's what I was going for.
Right. But like not only that, but like what I'm getting at is that it made his audience look at the storyline. It made it look at the things that he was doing in these things a lot more objectively, because when you're not distracted with making yourself believe that you're in another world, you're able to look at the work itself a lot more objectively. Yeah. Which is what I think Wes Anderson does with a lot of his movies, because like we said, he has a very unique style with how he directs his actors. They're very dry. They're just them. Yeah. You listen to Bill Murray talk as boss.
It's very Bill Murray.
It's very fucking Bill Murray. And I was just like, okay, I just see Bill Murray. Yeah. I'm not concerned with thinking, oh, this dog is
a character.
Like a character. I just like, oh, that's fucking Bill Murray. Yeah. And I kind of ignore that part and focus on the art of the movie. You hear Jeff Goldblum in his dog talk.
Did you hear about that rumor? Nutmeg and Felix, they made it.
No. And it was just and the fucking Ed Norton was the best. Ed Norton was probably one of the best dogs.
Most of his dialogue just consists of all in favor of just kicking Chief out of the pack and never talking to him again. Say aye.
Aye. Nay. Who's the naysayer?
Me, Chief. All right, you're outvoted. Let's do it. That's quirky. It's quick. It's so quick.
Exactly. Like you need to be paying attention to that sort of thing. But I feel like that's what Wes Anderson. Now, I mind you, I could be wrong. This is just my interpretation of it. I think Wes Anderson follows that old playwright's advice, where he sort of makes you know that you're watching a movie more or less. So you kind of look at it in a more critical light, which makes you appreciate a lot of the things that he's doing art-wise a lot more than if you were just to be watching another fucking Transformers flick or whatever.
Yeah, except Transformers flicks are perfect and Isle of Dogs isn't, unfortunately.
It's close to, but it's not perfect. It's not Transformers 3, Rise of Voltron. I don't fucking know.
Transformers 2 was... I'm surprised that Transformers 2 didn't make it to the Criterion Collection.
I'm a little bit sad on that.
Yeah. Hopefully one day, like the critics will recognize it's one of the best films ever made.
Yeah, just like The Shining. People didn't appreciate it back in the day. It's only once film nerds decided to get a hold of it, they're like, man, you need to watch this movie when Jack Nicholson, he puts an axe through a door and there's a naked lady in a tub.
Yeah.
And there's a dog fucking blowing some guy on a bed.
Yeah.
Or a bear.
And just like in Transformers 2, there's like a girl Decepticon. It's like a human girl. She transforms into a robot.
Yeah, that was a little strange.
Masterpiece of cinema. Thank you, Michael Bay.
I didn't know that Transformers could do that. I didn't know that they could transform into people.
Okay, yeah, so that's enough bullshitting. But
yeah, we're getting a little too deep into that.
but what? Yeah, like Wes Anderson has that style to him that makes him stand out.
Yes,
and it should be a thing that people should go out and see because just how much work he really puts. He gives a fuck. That's the thing.
He does, and it shows.
Yeah. It's not like he's just like, oh, fuck it. Like he like the sushi scene.
There you
go. That we brought up before.
Yeah.
Again, didn't need to be the movie, but he was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna do it anyway. But
exactly.
He puts work and effort into it. That's the thing.
Yeah, and it shows.
Yeah.
Everything in that movie is so well shot. It's so symmetrical. For anyone with like OCD would love this movie. Everything is so just perfectly symmetrical. It makes me happy.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have OCD or not, but I feel like I do from watching this movie. I appreciated all the just straight, what do they call it, center shots?
Yeah, like center shots. And
I don't know. I guess like whatever the term is for that.
There's a lot of crash zooms. There's a lot of camera pans. Like
and like everything was just so fluid and symmetric. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
I loved it. And the story itself was basic. It was the most basic story that you can possibly imagine. Boy goes to find his dog.
Yeah, it's nothing special.
And takes down a government in the process.
Yeah.
But
it kind of reminded me of Kubo. The story wasn't all that special.
But it was a way that it was presented that made it that made the movie itself special. Which if you haven't gone to see Kubo yet, or well, I guess gone to see it, it's out of theaters, but buy, rent, whatever, get Kubo somehow onto your screen and watch it.
No, I buy it. Support Leica Studios because they
fucking need it.
They're doing some good work right now.
Yeah, let's be honest, they need it too. Financially, they need it. So yeah, you're right. Go out and buy 2 copies of Kubo.
Stop supporting Illumination. Go support Leica and Indian Paintbrush because they put out some good shit.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, they care. They care about animation. They care about the art form of stop motion animation. And this is going to be one of those movies that people look at and you're like, wow, that I know that it's not made from a computer. It's all models and stuff.
Yeah, it's all people working with their hands, moving it frame by frame by frame. Like seriously, if you watch any of the Leica movies at the I was like mid credits, like mid-ish credits, they'll do like a mid-credit scene where they'll show the animators in a fast forwarded video of them animating the different figures that are on that you just saw in the movie.
Yeah.
And it's just the time and the effort and the just consistency and the dedication that goes into doing that is just like holy shit.
Yeah. And it makes me just want to go out there and do it.
Yeah.
That's just like there's people out there that are working on it and they're bringing entertainment to the screen. And you know what? It's inspiring.
It is.
It's super inspiring, especially when watching a film like Isle of Dogs.
Yeah.
Watching all these things play out. Sushi scene. And then you're seeing all the 2D animations on the TV screens.
Yeah.
You're seeing the way that each character is so distinct from another.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh my God. There's people on there that work on this? What am I doing? I need to do something as similar as that.
Yeah. I need to create.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean that it puts you in a very inspiring mood.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's what Wes Anderson is going for. He's just like, I just want to make a movie about dogs.
But you know what? Sometimes inspiration comes from weird places, whether or not it was intended. And I feel like he definitely pulled it off, and he inspired me. Me.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like we talked about the movie enough.
I feel like so. Final thoughts.
Yeah, final thoughts. Wes Anderson created another. He's 2 for 2 on animations.
Boom.
Fantastic Mr. Fox being a classic.
Yep.
Which seriously, it's on the Criterion. It's very good.
It's a fucking great movie,
and deservingly so. I hope Isle of Dogs makes it on the Criterion,
which I'm sure it will. It has really positive reviews.
Yeah.
Animation wise, I'm guarantee it's going to be nominated this year.
Oh yeah, it's not going to win, but like
I'm sure
it's probably going to get nominated.
I'm sure Boss Baby 2 Electric Boogaloo is going to win.
Yeah, or Minions 2. Electric Boogaloo with the same subtitle.
I want to fucking hang myself. But
And the winner of Academy the best animated film, Minions,
wait, when's Incredibles 2 coming out?
this summer.
Fuck yeah. I know you're not excited for it. I am.
I am not excited for it.
I don't care. I like The Incredibles, but that's for another video. Stay tuned for another video to see what we think about The Incredibles. Maybe we'll talk about it. Maybe we won't. That's why we're inconsistent.
We're probably gonna talk about it.
I'm sure we will.
Most likely. I don't know, but
Maybe when we have more things to say about it. It's only like
yeah,
what 2
like,
previews so far,
yeah,
and sort of whatever.
It's a couple trailers.
Yeah.
It's really whatever. But
Yeah, so-
Isle of Dogs. We're gonna talk about a trailer very soon. But Isle of Dogs is Wes Anderson classic, I believe, and I believe it's. I keep repeating myself. It's gonna be a movie that people like film lovers will remember.
Yes.
And they will appreciate its art form, and then hopefully it'll make people go out there and recommend. It's like, hey, you need to watch Isle of Dogs. It's really good.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, like when I did my part, when I told people like, hey, you should watch the movie, they're just like, no, it looks fucking stupid. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
It looks fantastic, and it is because I saw it.
People don't have the same likes and dislikes that other people do, and that's fine. But to just not give it a chance is pretty unfair.
Yeah. I do have to knock off a couple points from my grading scale because of the story. It isn't that special to where I'm like, oh, I'm going to remember it like years down the line.
Yeah.
But it is the way it's presented and the animation and everything. It's all so beautiful. And especially the music. I feel like I'm doing a disservice if I don't talk about the music by Alexander Desplat, who recently won an Academy Award for The Shape of Water, which that recently won Best Picture. And man's doing some good work. Alexander Desplat and Wes Anderson, they're still doing what they do, and he's still good at it. I hope that when Wes Anderson progresses in his career, he will be like, you know what, I'm gonna return to the animation department again.
I really hope he does. Capturing lightning in a bottle twice is a pretty hard feat.
Yeah.
Capturing lightning in a bottle once is a hard feat, but he did it twice.
Yeah.
And I would like to see if he can do it a third time.
Yeah, and I really hope he does it with his next animation, which will probably revolve around animals.
Yeah, I mean, he's 2 for 2 with animal plots.
Is he secretly a furry?
You heard it here first.
Oh no!
On the Arratikast, Wes Anderson confirmed furry. Also, Half-Life 3 confirmed by Wes Anderson being a furry.
There's like a little Easter egg.
You're right. There's like a big old Half-Life 3 in the fucking garbage bin on Trash Island. All right,
God.
so we're getting off topic again.
Isle of Dogs, I would give it a solid 8.5
8.5
out of 10.
I would say it's probably a 9 for me.
Nice.
Just because I have fond memories of the fantastic Mr. Fox. I really enjoy that movie a lot. Just for stop motion for me has always been a really big thing. I loved stop motion. Just the art of it, the time that goes into it. I used to make my own stop motion films on the Game Boy camera, if you remember that.
Oh, that was the shit.
With a little, I would have a little Mario figurine. I'd move them frame by frame by frame by frame.
Yeah.
And I would only have about 50 frames or whatever the camera would hold to play with, and I would just cycle through them really quick, and I would watch them move on screen. And that to me was amazing.
Yeah. Because
I remember watching The Nightmare Before Christmas, and I was like, oh man, how do they do that?
Yeah, it still looks great.
It still looks pretty good.
Yeah. Still a great movie.
So stop motion for me has always had a nice place in my heart, and so has Wes Anderson, just from the quirkiness and just amount of detail that he puts into a movie that I notice and appreciate. So 9 out of 10 for me. That's for I Love Dogs.
That is a solid rating.
Actually, scratch that. 9.2 because they had a pug in there.
Yeah, if any of you don't know, we own a pug.
Yeah.
And his name's Morty.
His name is Morty, named after the small child from Rick and Morty.
Yeah. And then he was like, I'm not going to name my dog Rick. Because that's just stupid. That's just stupid. But I'm going to name him Morty. So that is more fitting for a dog.
Exactly. So yeah, 9.2 because there was a pug in there. Voiced with Tilda Swinton.
Who voiced the better dog, Jeff Goldblum or Tilda Swinton?
Ooh, boy. Well, Jeff Goldblum had more lines to work with. Tilda Swinton said like 3 things in the whole movie.
And they're all hilarious.
But just the expressions that they put on that pug's face.
The most puggish expression. They appropriated pug culture.
Pug culture, and I'm okay with it.
All right, yeah, Isle of Dogs. That was a fantastic movie, and yeah. So Yeah, we were going to talk about a trailer, but I don't think we have enough time for now. But yeah, that's our very first episode of the Arratikast.
Yes.
And so that's going to be what we're going to do probably like once a week or something.
I would say so, yeah.
Probably
Once a week is...
Mondays or Tuesdays we're going to shoot for, because that's like the time that, you know, we're scheduling. That's what like matches up to be or something.
Sure.
So yeah, that's our first episode. Hope you guys really enjoyed it. We plan to make our episodes a little bit longer. And yeah, we're just testing the waters right now.
Yep.
It's our first episode, so stay tuned for next week. We'll probably talk about what's happening.
I don't know what's going to happen next week. If I did, I would probably use that knowledge to win the lottery or some shit, or invest in some sort of stock.
Well, you have a pug that can tell the future.
Right.
So.
He is the oracle.
Yeah.
So, you know what? I would say leave some comments in the description below to see what you would like us to talk about.
Yeah.
And we'll think about it.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I'm Ryan.
And I am Airik.
And yeah, this is our first episode of Arratikast, and we'll see you guys later.
See ya.